All right, guys, this is my second training of the day. I just uploaded the first one, and I wanted to keep these separate because I didn't want to upload like a 15, 20-minute video. So I'm going to talk about BV in the tree. Okay, now as you guys know, Jax, we don't do volume, business volume, group volume, whatever, like a lot of companies do. This is an excuse for companies to essentially mislead how much money they actually are paying out, right? So if they say, oh, well, we pay 15% on commissions, it's like, well, 15% on the volume, right? And I don't even know why they do volume, but essentially what it is volume is generally 30 to 50% of the dollar amount. So if they say they're doing 15%, it's usually 15%, not on the dollar amount that comes in, but the volume to dollar amount, which is usually, like I said, 40% of the actual dollar amount. So it's a total scam. Well, with us guys, it's straight up dollar amount. So the percentage that you see is the percentage that you get. But I want to talk about BV in the tree, because I get questions a lot. I was like, well, dude, how do you maximize your week? How do you do certain things? And I want to tell you, like, this kind of business, and obviously the first training that I did was how to maximize your check that you're looking at. But what you're ultimately looking at is, when it's all said and done, is for a week to go by or a month to go by, and every single day there's massive amount of activity inside of your organization. Okay, but you got to start somewhere, right? You got to start somewhere. Now, as you guys know, we have webinars. We have generally 3 webinars. Tuesday, Wednesday, and now Thursday for the opportunity, right? Sharing for prospects, guests, you name it. And then we have a Sunday webinar, which is essentially the 72-hour launch webinar. Okay, team calls, different things like that. That's between your team and how you guys want to do that. But essentially, that is the corporate webinar schedule. Okay, and here's what I know about that. It gives it so everybody can build no matter where they're at. They can build if they're in Kentucky. They can build if they're in Hawaii. They can build if they're in California. It does not matter. Everybody has equal opportunity to plug people in to those webinars and allow, people that are having success or that have had massive success in network marketing essentially help you, show them the opportunity. You hit them up afterwards, put them on a 3-way call, boom. Okay, so we've established this. The problem is that there's not a lot of BV in the tree when you do that. Okay, so what I mean by this, what BV in the tree means is your tree, right? In this case, it's a unilevel. So however many people you recruit and however many people they recruit and so on, right? That's essentially your tree. BV is, it's just something that rhymes, but essentially means how much dollars are coming in your tree. Okay, because that's really what it matters. That's what matters, how many dollars are being brought in, how many dollars are being paid out. Okay, so what you want is massive amounts of dollars coming in from a massive organization, because ultimately percentages of that are going to trickle up and hit your bank account, and boom, now you're making a lot of money. Okay, so you can, there's slow ways and there's fast ways to build any business. Slow ways are painful. It's a lot of throwing crap against the wall and seeing what sticks. That sucks. It's painful. Here is the way I've always been taught to build, and hopefully that this will help you guys. As you know, Fred Stevens Corporate, they're huge on in-home events. Okay, we have all the tools you need. You can go in, you can download the presentation in your back office. You just grab an HDMI cord, plug it into your computer, into the TV, right? Invite some friends over. Now you've all of a sudden, maybe get some pizzas, you get some friends over, take some pictures, do some videos, hanging out with everybody. But essentially you show them the deal, let them mess around with your smart home. You got to have the smart home, right? And then that's an in-home event. Now, if you want more information on how to go properly do an in-home event, it's in the 72-hour game plan, which is also in your back office. If you haven't downloaded that, you're missing out. So, why am I talking about this? It's because what is awesome about an in-home event is essentially you are talking to 10 people, 5 people, 10 people, maybe even upwards of 20, right, depending on how good of an inviter you are, and showing them all a business opportunity. And let's say it takes an hour. Okay, well, in an hour, you've essentially hit 20 people with that information. If you're doing a sit down at a coffee shop, or if you're inviting onto our webinars, which we do every 3 times a week for the opportunity, chances are you're going to get maybe 1 person, maybe 2 people to plug in. Okay, well, percentage-wise, if you get 20 people in the same amount of time, let's say an hour, as you do with the webinars, 2 people in an hour, okay, percentage-wise, you're more likely to get people, obviously, with the 20 because there's more people. Right, they're excited. They're rubbing off on energy off with each other. But percentage-wise, let's say if you get 20% of everybody you show the opportunity to. Okay, so 20%, and you have 20 people come on. Okay, you can do the math. But if you have 2 people show up and you only get 20% of that's not a human being, right? You have to do that over and over and over again to finally get your first person. Okay? So you're more likely to actually recruit people if you're doing an in-home event. Now here's what's crazy. People generally recruit and build business the way that they were brought in. So if you do an in-home event, right? We all should be doing one launch event when we get into business. If you do an in-home event, the people who saw it, they go through the 72-hour launch. Now they're going to go do their launch event. You go help them, right? Because you brought them in. Now all of a sudden it's duplicating, and it's duplicating. Now before you know, you've got 20, 30, 40 in-home events going underneath you in a certain week. Now all of a sudden your checks are crazy. Now all of a sudden momentum is crazy. Rank advancements, we're popping out banners like crazy because people are rank advancing, they're hitting their fast starts, etc. Okay? And they're having experience with the smart home, all that stuff. But I'm telling you guys, if you're just saying like, listen, I'm going to build this business solely off of webinars, just understand that you're going through like an hour to 2 hours worth of work for 1 person to 2 people, maybe a week, maybe, unless you're getting 5, 6, 7 people on each webinar, which nobody is, okay? And essentially it's not as duplicatable, it's not as efficient. And the reason I want to talk about this is because everybody wants to get to a point where they've got like 100 in-home events going on underneath them, and all sorts of activity, all sorts of signups, all sorts of customers, all that stuff. Imagine if you're only building on a webinar and people copy only what they were brought in. Like let's say somebody signs up with a webinar, so they say, oh, I'm going to just invite people in a webinar. You're not ever going to get to that point where you've got a massive amount of BV or a massive amount of dollars coming into your organization. But if you get it and it's duplicating, everybody's doing their one launch event at their house. They got the HDMI cord, it says $12 at Walmart, hook it into your laptop, hook it into your flat screen, show everybody the deal, let them play around with your smart home, put them on 3-way calls. Boom, all of a sudden we've got, a group of 10 people that saw this, a group of 20 people over there that saw that presentation, and it duplicates and duplicates and duplicates and duplicates. And I promise you this, I've seen the numbers. Fred showed me the numbers. The people that are doing it with this and taking advantage of the webinars, those are the people with the biggest checks, okay? The people that are just saying, well, I'm going to just plug in a person here and a person there on a webinar, and just kind of mess around. Like it's okay, we love you, but your check is probably not something that you're fired up about. So BV in the tree, dollar amounts coming into your organization. The only way to get to that crazy amount of activity where just dollars are coming in, signups are going like crazy, is not through the webinars, it's through an in-home event. Now, the reason I'm saying this word of caution, the webinars will still be going on because we want to give everybody that opportunity, right, to be able to plug people in no matter where they're at in the United States. Soon to be the world, right? But in the United States for now. So if you know somebody in Kentucky and you can't go give them an in-home event, well, chances are you should put them on a webinar, right? Because now that person has equal opportunity to see what's going on, learn from somebody who's having a lot of success, and then go out there and be able to sign up and then start their in-home event without you necessarily being there to help them. So this is why I wanted to tell you guys, BV in the tree, dollar amounts in your organization. If you want to get to that point, it starts with a launch event, and you got to make sure it duplicates within your organization. I promise you, the week that you have 10 to 15 to 20 in-home events and just massive amounts of activity going on, and you're not neglecting the webinars, right? You're still plugging people into the webinars. It's game over at that point. You're killing it. So with that, guys, I hope you all understand this, understand the importance behind it. Fred has been preaching in-home events for a long time, and this is why. BV in the tree, right? Dollar amounts into your organization. So with that, take care. And if you have any questions, hit me up, but hopefully we'll talk to you soon.